Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Neo's Brick Base, and if you couldn't tell, this is my very first video I've ever posted on YouTube, and I just wanted to say some things before we get to my first ever review video. I am a person who doesn't really, you know, interact a lot on social media. Sure, I watch videos namely on YouTube. I mean, it's the only social media platform I have, and I'm just doing this purely for my own fun because I am just a high schooler who just finished school not too long ago and has a lot of free time on his hands because it is summer break as of the recording of this video. And I I am not looking for any trouble. I'm not trying to look for any hate, I'm not trying to argue. I'm not trying to rival against anybody. I'm just here to have a good old time, just make videos and overall just enjoy myself and be happy. So I I just oh sorry. I just not really used to giving out announcements like this, especially since I've never really made a YouTube channel like I said before. So without further ado, here's my very first review video. Thank you for listening and enjoy. Speaking of the first review, the Lego set I'll be reviewing today is the Razor Crest from the recently released Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Now, as someone who has already watched the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, I'll try to avoid spoilers as much as possible in this review. Anyways, this set is number 75447. It's recommended for ages 10 and up, and it contains 930 pieces for $150, which is overpriced to say the least. In this set, it contains Grogu, the Mandalorian, Zeb Orrelios, Colonel Ward, and an Imperial Remnant Stormtrooper. A pretty solid lineup, with Zeb Orrelios being the main highlight of this minifigure selection. The other ones, they could have been a little bit better. Anyways, the side, there's not much going on except this cute little box art with the Mandalorian Grogu inserted on its side. Here we have the back of the box, which shows the Razor Crest landed on the planet that the Rebel base is found in. And as you can see, there's photos showing how to access the interior, Grogu accessing the little engine, and most certainly the highlight of the back of the box with the Rebels shown trying to take down the Imperial Remnant Stormtrooper with its E-Web blaster. And here is the Mandalorian swooping in to save the day. Now, this set was actually a very enjoyable set to build. There were many good techniques, and honestly, it was pretty good to put together. The only gripe I had while building this set was the amount of stickers there were. As you can clearly see, me trying to carefully put on stickers each time I hit an instruction page that required me to put on stickers. Alrighty, starting off this minifigure lot, we have the Mandalorian himself. And if I'm being honest, he's a perfect minifigure. I don't really know what I could do to upgrade this minifigure or make him better. Maybe give him a cape, but honestly that's not really that big of a deal considering it's going to be covered by the jetpack anyway. This man is lined with arm printing, back printing, chest printing, leg printing, and even printing on the helmet that make him look like the Mandalorian from the movie and show he's based on. So overall, I really have no complaints with this minifigure. And One difference that I noticed between him and his 2025 counterpart is a slightly different leg printing, which he has additional knee pads in the middle of his legs and some foot printing to give him a little bit more depth, which honestly makes him a 10 out of 10 minifigure in my book. What a great way to start off this set. Next up we have Grogu, and just like the Mandalorian, this is another fantastic micro figure. He has a all new unique mold dedicated just for him, and if I'm being honest, it makes it pretty much perfect. Like, I really don't see any way I can upgrade this Grogu to make it perfect, in my opinion. He's already is. Now, comparing him to his 2020 to 2025 counterpart, you could see that he has moved from the traditional Lego baby mold and received his own unique mold, which makes him, stand out from all the other baby characters within Lego's line, which also gives him a 10 out of 10 rating, making the Mandalorian and Grogu a perfect pair. Next, we have the most anticipated minifigure in the set being Zeb or Raylos. And I'm sorry if I'm saying this too much, but it's true in my book. He's a perfect minifigure as well. And, he just looks like what I expect Zeb or Raylos to look like. Maybe I would have added some little gray hairs to his beard that he has, but I don't feel like it's necessary because, he just looks good overall. And honestly, he kind of might be the reason why I got this set to begin with. And little known fun fact, he's actually the very first minifigure to have dual molded arms, because literally no other Star Wars minifigure has had dual molded arms from 1999 till now in 2026. That is insane. The one thing I would kind of fix is how far apart the eyes are. I would have made them a little bit more closer, but if I'm being honest, it doesn't really bother me too much. So yeah, Zeb is a pretty good minifigure. So in total, I'm probably going to have to give Zeb a 9.8 out of 10. Not a good 10 out of 10 rating, but still, he's a very good minifigure nonetheless. Next up, we have Colonel Ward. And if I'm being honest, she's probably one of my two least favorite minifigures in this set. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not because of her design, but it's because, she doesn't really look too interesting in my opinion. Now, what I will give credit though is that she has a pretty good printing overall. She has a nice light green jacket, she has a red journey, she has dark lightish or light brown pants, and honestly, the minifigure looks like the actor Sigourney Weaver. So, I gotta give props to Lego for capturing her likeness here. And the hairpiece for her was just pretty much perfect. Now, as you can see, she actually has a alternate expression, which surprisingly, she's the only minifigure with an alternate expression of showing a little bit more angry. I would expect her to use this face during combat or something. But overall, I would have to give Colonel Ward a 8 out of 10 in my opinion. She's still pretty good, just not my favorite minifigure out of this set. The last minifigure we have up is the Imperial Remnant Stormtrooper, and for those who have been collecting Lego for a while now, you know that this really isn't nothing new. It's basically just a regular Stormtrooper with a black pauldron slapped onto him. I would have loved if they added some dirt printing or some weathering to make him look more, Imperial Remnant like the name suggests, but I can never have enough Stormtroopers, so I'll just add this one to the army of Imperial Stormtroopers I have. Now, another thing that I did quite notice is that this Stormtrooper is using the newer pauldron design, which, I'm a little mixed on, because on some troopers it works, but on others it doesn't. So here's the comparison. So this is the clone trooper, the 327th clone trooper that we got from the 327th battle pack last year, and as you can see, sporting the newly molded pauldron with some brown printed on it, unlike the Imperial Remnant Stormtrooper. Now for clones, I feel like this works, but on Stormtroopers, I don't know, I'm probably gonna have to get used to it for a little while. Overall, I give the Imperial Remnant Stormtrooper a 6 out of 10. There's really nothing wrong with it, but there's nothing great about it either. What's also included in this set for the Stormtrooper to utilize is this E-Web cannon that can be used to take down the Razor Crest. Now, of course, judging by how most Stormtroopers go, let's just say that this Stormtrooper will not be returning to base anytime soon. Now we're moving on to the part that we all been waiting for, the main attraction of this set, the Razor Crest itself. Let's start out with the front. Now, as you can see in the front, we have a bunch of yellow and a bunch of gray mixed up at the same time to give it that hint that it's painted both yellow and gray. However, though, the part where the yellow shines through are unfortunately stickers. Now, at first I was a little worried that I was gonna at least have one of them crooked, but come to my surprise, I was actually able to put them on, I think, perfectly. Like, I did it with every single sticker in this set, and they all came out fine. Here we see on the sides beautifully designed cannons. These cannons, dare I say, are better than the original Razor Crest cannons for those who own the original set. Even though it has a little sticker trying to give out a little bit of detail to make it alive, I dare say it's a good use of the sticker because it makes it more detailed than the prior Razor Crest. Now, both panels of the Razor Crest can open to reveal an engine inside, but you can't really interact with anything in it. All you can do is just put Grogu in the engine, you know, who knows, to make little repairs for the Mandalorian that he himself can't repair, but really, that's it. There's just nothing but the engine and just some bricks that are giving it structural support, so that way whenever people are playing with this set or using this set or building this set, it won't collapse on them. So yeah, so there it is on the other side. Let's move away from that area and go to the cockpit area. Now, as you can see, this cockpit piece is actually a brand new print. Now, even though it's a reuse of the old Razor Crest's print, it's printed in yellow instead of the traditional gray that the old Razor Crest had. And it's actually, you could take it out a lot more easier compared to the old Razor Crest, where you had to only take out half the cockpit in order to access the interior. Speaking of the interior, there are 2 seats and 2 jumper plates to put Grogu in either one of them. Now, the vision here is that you're supposed to put the Mandalorian, Zebarelos, or Colonel Ward, and Grogu in those seats. And here is a demonstration of how to put the minifigures in the designated way. I don't think I'm supposed to be... Who let him in here? Anyways, let me grab Zebarelos and actually put him in the spot he's supposed to be in. There we go. There we go. So anyways, I don't know why my minifigure was there, but here's Mando, Zeb, and Grogu fit snug in the cockpit, and you can see that it just looks majestic with them in it. Imagine just swooshing this around your room with all 3 of them inside. Now, as you reach to the sides, you can see here that there are a total of 4 stickers on either side of the Razor Crest. Now, at first you're gonna be annoyed to put them on, but once you become a little bit more careful and try to apply them on correctly, it can actually be a little bit easy to put them on, at least for me, because back then I used to struggle putting on stickers, and now I think I am getting better and better the more times I build Lego. And as you can see, there's a rear ramp in here which you can pull down to access the interior, although all you're just gonna run into is a bench. So let me just remove the panels to give you a view of the inside of the ship. There goes the main door, there goes the 2 hole doors, and then I'm trying to open the other door, and as you can see, there's really not a lot of interior to mess around with. All you get is a little bench, some clips, and then some Technic beam structures helping to hold the Razor Crest in place. Now, if I'm being honest, this is probably the most disappointing part of this set. they could have put at least something in here to make it more playable for both kids and adults alike. But since Lego kind of skipped out on this part, we really don't got a lot of stuff to interact with. So really all you can do is just put minifigures such as Colonel Ward sitting at the rear door, and just another figure in the cabin where the clips are located, in which you can attach minifigure blasters, weapons, accessories onto them, which is not really too fun. So anyways, now I'm closing the panels back up to get a view of the top of this ship. Now as you can see, there is a lot more greebling, there's a lot more stuff going on at the top of the ship as opposed to the interior, which is surprising to say the least. But I feel like this is where Lego actually did justice on this set. Now the first thing to get in mind, they're stud shooters, which, if I'm being honest, I don't really mind stud shooters, although to be honest, they're probably the most pointless play feature in this set. I might remove these, but I don't think I'm going to remove them, to be honest. Next we have this section which is supposed to represent the escape pod, which on the original set was actually a removable, like, separate ship that you can mess around with, but on this version it's built in, so meaning that you can't take it apart. It's just built in there, like, as detail. So I've been sadly focusing on a lot of the negatives of the set, but now let's actually try to get into the positives of this set. The first positive I have to say about this set is how well the engines are made. Compared to the old Razor Crest, where for whatever reason it wasn't a complete circle intake on either end, I actually like the engine design on the older Razor Crest, especially the unique building techniques for the back thrusters of the Razor Crest. Like, that looks pretty much on par in what I expect the Razor Crest to look like. Excuse me. Anyways, another cool aspect of this set is the fact that it is yellow. On the old Razor Crest, we had a bit of yellow, but it wasn't as much yellow as this Razor Crest. Even with the stickers, it gives it a more pop of color, which for the Star Wars line is mostly known for their gray, black, and dark gray ships, which honestly, a ship like this with yellow is enough to make it stand out. And as you can see here, it is extremely sturdy and whooshable. Like, when you play with this set, swooshing around your room and trying to have a great time with this set, it won't fall apart on you. And you don't even have to worry about it, coming apart if you're whooshing it too fast or if you're putting too much pressure on it. Like, it will last. That's what I like about it. The durability of this set, how it looks, the colors, and how beautifully designed it is. So anyways, now for my overall rating of this Razor Crest. Would I recommend to buy it? It depends. If you have the old Razor Crest and prefer that one, just stick with that one. But if you don't have a Razor Crest or you just like the way this one looks, get this. Anyways, that's it for my review today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I really loved making this video so much for you guys, and hopefully I'll be able to make more videos for you soon. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.